This is the most chaotic thing I think I've ever seen.
This is fine. This is
Are
exciting.
you guys excited?
I don't
excited.
know what I'm getting into.
I think
never done
chaos
this.
is what the season was. There was a lot of unexpected
There you
twists
go.
and
So
turns.
this is very thematic.
So here we are.
All right. Well, so this is a very special episode of This Week in Racing. It's the show that we started to talk about all the headlines of the past week. However, we're going to look at the IndyCar season as a whole. So we're going to talk about some of the highs, the lows, some of the controversy. Yeah, we want to get your unfiltered take on what happened for the year.
Well, I'm unfiltered.
That-
I know Tony is, so that.
Unfiltered and unverified.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Thank you, Logan.
Perfect.
Wow.
Thank you for
I'll
the
pay you
plug.
after that.
Why don't we start them with an intro? Why don't you guys just, for those who don't know you, which I think is actually
No
no
one.
one, in the IndyCar community, who's David and who's Tony?
You go first, David.
Hi, I'm David Land. I'm a YouTuber. I cover a lot of different racing series, but mainly I cover the Indy cars. And so I have 100,000 subscribers. I also do a show with Tony Donohue called Unverified, and we talk about a lot of stuff. And that's
go
what we're
off-
doing tonight.
I probably say too much.
You definitely say
Things
too much.
that I shouldn't say.
We have a bingo card of things that you shouldn't say, and you still say them.
Well, we're gonna get into that, and if no one can tell, we are on
Sprocket Rocket Party Bike.
If you can't tell, we're on the Sprocket Rocket Party Bike in downtown Nashville for the IndyCar Championship, the finale weekend. We have no idea where we're going. This is going to be an adventure around town. Just going to be shaking and whatnot. All right, what do you want to kick it off, Logan, with
Yeah,
the
let's
first
kick it off.
topic of the night?
Okay. First topic of the night, I feel like we've kind of all covered it probably separately, but it's just Palou's dominance this season. I mean, he clinched the championship title with one race to go. He won 8 races now, so we'll see if he wins his 9th this weekend. But I don't know, what do you think is like a key moment in the season when you guys look back on the 2025 season?
I think the Indianapolis 500 is what first comes to mind for me, right? So we talked about the bad luck that Alex Palou has had at the 500. In the pits the one year when him and Arenas made contact, and it was like, okay, does this guy have bad luck at Indy? He's winning everywhere else. He got his first oval win last summer, which I think is huge. You don't see a lot of drivers, Rossi and Marcus Ericsson come to mind, but outside of that, most drivers have already won on an oval before they win the 500. And I just think putting that all together, and it was an Alex Palou race, right? It was methodical, it was patience, it was the perfect 10s on pit road getting it done. And, there was a little bit of controversy at the end of the 500, which I know we'll talk about, kind of sums up the month with the 2 cars in the back of the field from Rahal, which I don't think did anything wrong. They were racing their race. Then Alex Palou goes into one and takes the lead, ultimately wins. Yeah, I think we're all in the camp now where if you're gonna do this and go on this historical run, I'm here for it. Win the Indianapolis 500, which he did.
But I think the big thing for me is just that historic dominance. Yes, he's not going to get the win total that would have matched him with AJ Foyt or Al Unser Sr., but I don't think it really matters. At the end of the day, we're going to remember this season. I thought about it when I was in Laguna Seca, and he was just dominating that race, is that we're going to look back on this, and every IndyCar race you went to, you just assumed Alex Palou was going to win it. And, I get that that's boring to some people, but to me, I think we're going to look back on this in 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to tell our grandkids about Alex Palou and the fact that we saw him do this year. So I don't know if there's one key moment. I think the entire season is a key moment.
So you thought he was going to win it the whole time, like every race you went to?
It felt like it. It felt like it.
So what was the piece that you saw go wrong where you go, okay, now it's someone else's game. It's Kyle, it's Christian Rasmussen,
So it's weird because at Long Beach, you mentioned Kirkwood, for example, is that was, the Andretti team was always bad on their pit stops. So you just assumed that a bad pit stop was going to, because Alex was second at Long Beach, and you just assumed that there was going to be a bad pit stop coming, and it never came. I would say maybe the one moment of the season where Alex really made a mistake was Mid-Ohio, where he had that race lock, stock, and barrel, and he went off of the racetrack. Scott Dixon comes through and wins it. That was really, if I'm thinking about mistakes that Alex Palou made, I can probably count them on one hand.
But that's what you would look for. You're like, if you didn't see him mess up, you said this is his race.
Yeah.
Put the money on it.
For sure, yeah. And we all went into Mid-Ohio thinking he was going to win, right? So it was surprising when he didn't. And even races that we would have said he absolutely isn't going to win, like Iowa, he won. So it's just a testament to the 10 crew. And it's not just Alex Palou, right? It's the car, it's the team. They've been saying it all year. Barry Wanzer calling the strategy. It really has been a true team effort from them.
Yeah.
Because the rest of IndyCar, including Penske this year, has just been off a little bit. And they've been the only team that's consistently performed throughout the entire year, and it shows.
What about the Penske guys? Like, what about, I mean, you got Will Power, who had, I thought it was a mic drop moment when he had the win, and he's like, maybe it's in my seat, my control. But, you know, him to get 2 on the books, Joseph to get 1, Scotty Mack to come back from a pretty brutal month of May.
You know, we kind of talked at the beginning of the year, like, can anybody beat Penske? And it's been the exact opposite. It's can anybody beat Ganassi? And we'll see what happens this weekend.
Well, and I think historically bad has been Team Penske's year. You know, we were talking until Portland about the potential of them not winning a race, period. They haven't done that since 1999. And so I think there's a couple of interesting points with Team Penske. Number one, the fact that Will Power is the only driver to win for Team Penske, and he's the only one that there's a question mark of him coming back next year.
Did that solidify him, do you think?
No. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. You know, anytime you talk to Will or you talk to anyone kind of surrounding that situation, it just seems like, for whatever reason, these are differences that are not going to be resolved. And I don't know if there necessarily are differences on Will's end, but it seems like Penske to me has moved on from him, which is, it's so strange, it's so bizarre, because he's had the best season of all 3 of them. Joseph Newgarden's had his worst season ever. And you're talking about racing it with teams like Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing, you know, Ed Carpenter Racing, teams that were not front runners or expected to be front runners like Penske is. So, you know, the Joseph Newgarden experience this year, Tony, maybe you can talk about it a little bit more. Just Joseph's season, terrible.
So bad.
It's crazy because, you know, you look at drivers like a Marcus Ericsson, right? Having a terrible year at Andretti, but he didn't forget to drive. Joseph Newgarden hasn't forgotten how to drive. This is still somebody who's won 2 Indianapolis 500s. It's hard to win 1, let alone 2 back-to-backs. It just seems like there's been too many times this year with Penske and Joseph. They've rolled off the truck on an oval and just not had it. Obviously, some bad luck with the undercut at Iowa kind of caught him out. You know, you think about Indy dude was on rails. Like, he probably should have won a 3rd straight 500.
How much was him, the car, and then how much was like the team setting him up to fail?
You know what I would use a word to describe Team Penske this year? Dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Dysfunctional. I mean,
which is like the last word you would ever say about Team Penske.
Exactly. And so you look at the scandals that have rocked that team over the past 2 years, the firings, the driver question.
Hey, hold on. Can we look at Marcus Ericsson right here? Marcus Ericsson, everybody.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm just talking crap about you.
Hey, we're saying,
You want to come on, Marcus?
hello,
You guys
Marcus.
can hop on if you want.
You want to go ride?
Hi, Iris.
Hi, Iris.
Really good eye. That was so
Wow, Marcus Ericsson.
Well, he told me he was walking up and down here.
You know, the minute we started talking bad about Joseph, Marcus appeared. I can't believe it.
Let's
I can't
see our
believe it.
picture here.
Oh no.
Oh, did he send it to you?
Of course he did.
That's so funny.
Hello, Marcus. That's crazy. That is insane behavior.
There you
I'll
go.
put that in there.
You guys have been in the sport a lot longer than us.
Yeah.
How have you seen it evolving even just within this year? Is it moving in that direction? Is it taking a step back?
Oh, I'd say it's moving in the right direction.
I think Fox
it's
has been huge for that.
Oh, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say it's moving slowly, but I think there's some things. You look at the video game coming out. You look at them committing to a new car for 2028. You look at some of the relationship building they've done with like manufacturers and stuff like that. Not saying that they're all going to resign, but you hope that some of the direction that Doug Bowles has kind of brought in the last 6 months will help. And it seems like it is. I mean, I think IndyCar, and to Tony's point, I think Fox has added a lot to that. The fact that they bought into it, the fact that their media empire will kind of have a say in what is going forward.
Yeah, that was a great announcement.
Oh, it was huge. I think it's huge for the sport. You know, when I talked to Chip Ganassi last week, he kind of mentioned, for him as a team owner, it helps solidify that, yes, there is a future. This isn't Penske Entertainment. Penske Entertainment's not just buying this short term. It's a commitment to the long term to sell a little bit of it, because I think what Fox will do, and I think what we all hope Fox will do, is be that promotional arm of the sport that we need so badly, right? I think we all know that IndyCar racing is so exciting. You know, the drivers are great. We just saw that, right? So I think you've got a lot of the right ingredients here, but you have to have somebody to cook it. And right now, I think the people who are cooking the ingredients aren't doing the best job. So if we can get the cake base a little bit better, I think we're all going to be good.
I mean, I'm wearing a shirt from Hauser. I didn't even shop there in high school, but you got an Indy 500 shirt. I'm going to go in there. I'm gonna go in there and check. I have a puka shell necklace on, but you know. So I think
You're
the
a
video,
Hot Topic guy.
Yeah, I think the video game is going to be huge because that just opens up a bunch of different things you could do. Interactions at the racetrack. You really build a community of people iRacing, getting on Discord and talking to each other while they're doing that racing. And you hope that that translates into having these fans stick around. Oh, I want to go check this out in real life. I want to go to a race. The Indy 500 looks awesome. I'm going to make my travel plans to go. So I think the video game has been huge.
One of the things that IndyCar needs to a hump that IndyCar needs to get over is that, you know, we have a 6-month racing season. What do we do in the 6-month non-racing season to keep people engaged, make them excited, and make them want to engage with IndyCar? A video game is a great way to do that because you can revisit all the great moments, the great races, the great drivers all the time. And I think we just need to find more things that fill out that 6 months. Now, what those are, I don't know. They're not paying me. Maybe if they start paying me, I'll tell them. Should be.
You mean you have it written down? You're just waiting for the paycheck?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I can solve it tomorrow. Hi, Doug.
So Formula One actually just released a bunch of mid-year stats.
Yeah.
And one of the things that came through in multiple ways was YouTube as a growth mechanism for them. No, but
ironic.
Shocker. I can't believe it.
right? But they pointed to the strength of it in the US for them. And then globally in terms of the power that it drives for their highlights.
Well, a ton of their things is like getting people into the sport, but also getting people to know the people that they're supporting.
Right.
And like F1 does that really well with all of like the Girl to Grid stuff, all of the interviews.
But it's not
They-
them
they-
alone, that's a thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And F1 I think does that really well in terms of like getting people to get to know the drivers that they want to support, and IndyCar just doesn't really do that. We try to do that with these like sort of fun interviews and stuff, but we only get such a short period of time. And like we were saying, there's literally 6 months when they're not doing stuff.
Right.
And people like Palou are so popular because they showcase their personality and who they are outside of the racing. So clearly there's a want for like
Yeah, you
people
need
to
more than
understand that
15
a
minutes
little
in front of
more.
an engineering
You know,
trailer.
you need to be looking to, you know, influencers. You need to be looking towards YouTube. You need to be looking towards social media. You know,
And those influencers have to come in though, and they have to support the sport, promote it, and not just, oh, look at me, I have paddock access.
correct. And I think that's a big thing when you say influencer. What I mean is someone with influence, right?
Tell
Someone
you
who-
when the race is.
Well,
That's a good
and
start.
what I think we'd like to see, my opinion, is, you know, if you're going to bring social media people in, you need to have people who are willing to create content that moves the sport forward, right? It can't just be, yes, you can put your name, like I put my name on stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, but your content's not about you, it's about us, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And that's my point, is that I feel like you have to be a little bit more selective about who you pick, because sometimes I think that, you know, you hear that someone showed up for like the Indy 500 and you go, who is this person? But then you see, like, I remember, I don't know if you guys know Amelia Hartford, or she's an actor who like starred in like Gran Turismo and stuff. She's a Hoosier. She was at the Indy 500 a couple of years ago, and they did nothing with her. And I'm like, wait a second, this is a woman who is in your target demographic. She's an actor, and she loves racing in cars. She's exactly who should be like touting to the heavens how cool this is, and there's no content. I see one like Instagram story, and it's like, oh, you were at the Indy 500. How did they not know that? You know, those are the kind of things that I go, well, here's the thing. Barstool just recently got bought into by Fox. IndyCar just recently got bought into by Fox. We talk about alternate media and alternate ways of thinking about doing things. It is to me a no-brainer that Barstool would have at the very least a correspondent at every race. And more than that, I think they should have a dedicated show, a YouTube, something, like, you know, TikTok, or social media platform, something to just say, hey, we've got some guys out here who are covering the race. It doesn't have to be 100% serious, but I would like it to be informative in some ways. And I think they do have content that's informative, right? It's not just all, you know, just throwing, eating pizza and swearing, right? There is some real
I love
content.
to do that though.
But that's part of it. That's part of the appeal. But I would like to see, you know, swearing and eating pizza at an IndyCar race.
Yeah, right?
Right?
With one of the drivers or something, or like getting them to do it and then get them to like talk about their season highlights. Like, no, exactly. Like incorporate like
100%.
all of that. Yeah.
That would be so
there's-
perfect.
There's room for, you know, David and I to talk hardcore about what's going to happen in the race. And then what you guys do of like, hey, let's get the personality of this driver. Let's take him outside of his element a little bit to learn about him. Maybe crack some jokes, maybe show that personality. And I think that helps grows the sport because, you know, when you're picking your favorite driver, you're probably going to go by, okay, does he have a personality? Okay, does his car look cool? Is his helmet cool? What team is he on? Those type of things are which I think are important to grow the sport as well.
And Greg, I think you made an interesting point that I kind of like to focus in on.
Oh, let's keep that quote for
There you
the
go.
future.
No, you
I'll
know
use that as a
there you go.
loaded
Yeah,
quote.
but cut it. But Greg, you said not everyone's going to be the what's the strategy this weekend sort of fan. I think the strategy from IndyCar's marketing perspective, and quite frankly, it's something that I've kind of approached with my content, is that you want to try to hook the casual people and bring them into becoming that person. I think that's something Formula One has done very well with the graphics on their broadcast are so user friendly that they take these very complex concepts and make them easy to understand for a casual audience. And then you see all of these casual people who came in with Drive to Survive, and they're hardcore. They know everything about the strategies. It's really kind of amazing what Formula One has been able to do. And I think when we talk about what IndyCar could learn from Formula One, I think it's that strategy of, okay, yes, it's important to get the casuals in there, but then you got to turn the casuals into your hardcore sweaty fans. And that's where we're kind of missing the boat right now. I think you have two different groups represented in IndyCar. You got very, very casual people and you got very, very hardcore. And neither of those two, seem to mesh well together. We want them all somewhere in the middle, I'd say. That would be the best.
What got you guys in it? You guys have been fans of the sport for, like Greg said, longer than us. So what's the memory that you have that you were like, no, I'm so into this? Like, why should people follow IndyCar? Like, we're talking about it as if they should just come in, but I feel like we should give them a reason why. So what was it for both of you? And Greg, I want to know yours too. Yeah.
Greg, you first.
Yeah,
Mine
Greg,
first? It's very simple. It's the tire strategy, but at a very high level. And what I like about it was that every time you grow up, you hear NASCAR and you're like, oh, it's just a bunch of cars turning left. That's it. And then I finally sat down and watched a race, and I was like, why are the lap times getting slower? And I never paid attention to it. And then I was like, oh, the tires are eroding. Wait a minute, there's something here. There's more below this than just making that left turn. And then you start to read about the strategy. You watch all these guys change the tires in this finite amount of time, and it's under high pressure. That's cool.
It becomes a team sport at that point.
And by the way, I'm not athletic at all. I know I may look very, very athletic, but I'm not athletic.
How fast are you pedaling?
It's all David, actually.
That's all me. It's all me.
Yeah, I haven't pedaled at all.
100%.
So I'm not athletic. So traditional stick and ball sports were never something that I gravitated towards. But this, and being a nerd and curious, I guess, I fell in love with that aspect of it.
It's absolutely badass, right? Because that's something I can't do. I can't jump in a go-kart and race, I reckon it. So I just think that aspect of it. And then, if you really dive into it, the traditions and the history of how we got to where we are, the innovation of the sport, the speed. David and I both live, on opposite sides, but we both live, 200 yards from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We didn't do that by happenstance. We didn't do that by luck. It's how we planned our life. And, when you talk about covering a sport, I think what makes David and I so good at it is just there's a passion for it that, was instilled in us when we were kids.
Yeah, and I think that would be the way I would say it. Again, in my past, my family had been going to the Indianapolis 500 since, as a group since the 80s, even before then, as kind of single ticket buyers. It was the colors, it was the sounds, it was the best TV show I could watch, right? There was something about it. I think back to some of my formative memories are Buddy Lazier winning the Indy 500. That's why all my stuff is purple. Alex Zanardi at the corkscrew passing Brian Herdup. The finish into the 97 Portland race where it's raining and there's 3 cars abreast coming across the finish. For whatever reason, as a child, and I couldn't probably explain it all that well, outside of just that kind of visceral feeling that you get from watching an auto race as a young person. And just maybe it was the way that it was presented back in the day. It felt like it was so serious. It felt like this matters, and there were so many different ways to engage with it too. I think that would be the other big thing.
Let's talk about some of our favorite moments just of the season.
Let's do favorite moments from this season.
Do you want to do a rose and a thorn? Rose for something good. So call it a highlight, whatever. And a thorn is something bad that happened.
And a bud is something you're looking forward to. Rose, thorn, and a bud.
That's Logan's variation of it. No, we did rose and thorn. We never did rose, thorn, more. Rose, thorn, bud.
All right, let's hear it, Tony.
I think a rose is just, the buy-in of Fox and what they've done for the sport and what they want to do moving forward. You haven't had this out of a TV partner. I think it's only going to continue to grow. having every race on Fox this year has been huge. Hopefully every race next year is on Fox, and we see that weekly mark pushed over 700,000. It gets to 1 million, and that's the consistency. A thorn, I mean, I think it's Team Penske and what they went through and what happened in the month of May, and really the long-term effects of what happened, because we obviously see after the 500, Marcus Ericsson, Kyle Kirkwood, you know, a Prema car, I think Colin Milot was moved to the back. Does that happen if the Penske stuff doesn't happen? And now moving forward, if you do have an independent counsel that's going to sanction what goes on in tech, are you going to have, you know, what we've heard of just kind of opening up, you know, all these teams saying, oh, they're doing this, he's doing that, this team's doing that. And then a Bud looking forward, I'm excited to see what the schedule is. Looks like Phoenix is going to be back on it. An oval, hopefully under the lights. And some cross promotion with NASCAR. I think it's going to be huge for this sport.
That'd be cool.
If I'm giving out a rose, I have to give it to Alex Palou. You don't have a season like that. You don't do it with the grace that he's done it with, and you don't do it with the dominance that he's done it with without, you know, me being able to put that. You have to give him a rose. You have to. I mean, that we're going to look at 2025 and say that was the Alex Palou year, right? And there's nothing else that compares to him this year. Nothing. So I would give it to Alex Palou. I think from a thorn perspective, you know, Tony had a pretty good one, but I'm going to go ahead and say the way the Iowa weekend was handled. I think that was embarrassing for the sport. I think it was very disappointing to see a race that has been so crucial to IndyCar over the past few years, and especially one that's been promoted as well as it has been in the past, fall off the way that it did, have the grandstands look the way that they did, and still be able to put on a good race and have no one see it. I think that would probably be my thorn. And then what's the third? A Bud. I mean, I'm going to have to share a Bud with Tony because I'm looking forward to next season, and I think the early part of the season is going to be awesome. Again, it's not confirmed yet, but it's confirmed. We're going to start off the season with 3 races in a row, starting at St. Pete. We're going to go to Phoenix with NASCAR, which I think is going to be awesome. You know, everybody remembers Phoenix as kind of being a mid-race, but they've really IndyCar's figured out how to race on short ovals since then. I think it's going to be a fantastic race. And I think, to Tony's point, it's going to be nice to see the IndyCar-NASCAR doubleheader on an oval finally. I think the Indy road course is pretty uninspiring for that.
IndyCar under the lights.
Well, we hope it's under the lights. Fox, help us out, Fox. I guess IndyCar and Fox are the same thing now. And then going on to Arlington in Texas with the new street course, I think that's going to be a really strong start to the season. So from a Bud perspective, I'd say it's going to be that opening stanza to the 2026 season. I think it's going to be really strong.
I like it.
You're next.
I'm next. You want to go?
I'll go, guys. I'm gonna
Logan's
keep
up.
mine pretty brief, okay?
That's
like
fine.
mine are
We
like
yapped.
specific moments. All right. Okay, my rose, Pato's win in Toronto. I think that was so fun. It was more of a rose personally as well because like I was there, got to see it. No one really expected him to win. He was starting 10th, I believe. It kind of
Zach
came out of
Brown was
nowhere.
there.
Zach Brown was there. Just watching the McLaren team celebrate that win, like it was a huge moment for the entire team, not just for Pato. And it was an incredible podium as well with Renus and Hiven on there too.
Must
So
be
that was something
must be the Firestone building.
Oh yeah. Put your hat. Oh yeah, there's your hat.
Shout
But
out
yeah,
Firestone.
that would be my rose. I think my thorn, Scotty Mack season. I love Scotty Mack, and honestly, it's heartbreaking, and specifically his crash at the Indy 500. Can't even talk about it. Moving on now. And then the Bud would be, I think the first three races as well. Like I'm excited for that, and I feel like this season was personally as well the first time I like really followed IndyCar the entire way through. So I'm excited to start that again, and I don't know. Yeah, I think 3 races back to back is gonna be awesome.
I'm excited to see you guys in more races. Can we get you guys in more IndyCar races next year?
Oh,
Let's make
Roger,
that
what's
happen.
up?
Make that happen.
Whatever you figure out that phone number to call, like let me know.
I will. You know, and I'll have somebody else.
It's 911. I'm
Yeah.
scared.
I try that. I keep trying. They never answer.
Yeah, the cops just keep showing up.
It's so weird. All right, I'm going to take a similar approach to you. As mine's, yeah, like that's sentimental reflection. I'm going to say the rose goes to all the fans. I think just spending the year hearing their stories, they're interesting just as much as the drivers. And it is such, I mean, it's what makes the sport special is that it's accessible to people. For $50, you can be in a paddock, which, yes, is a lot to some people, but it's like to them be in that paddock, to be next to your heroes and watch the kids and see how connected this community feels. That's always exciting. Like it gives me so much energy. That's what I love about it. And so doing more of that this year was a blessing. On the Thorn side, it's tricky. I would say.
What about Detroit? I feel like
Yeah,
Greg
you know
and I
what?
went to
That's actually a
Detroit.
really good one.
Yeah. And it was super fun. It was our first time there. We just came off this massive. I'm hijacking. Or sorry. We just
No,
came
no,
off
no.
this
This
massive
is a
Indy
perfect.
500 week, which was just like literally the most insane week of our like entire lives, pretty much. And then we come to Detroit and we're trying to do these fun fan interviews, and nobody knew what was going on. And it's like right down there, and we're like asking them literally, "Who do you think is gonna win?" And they're like, "I don't know."
No, not
and they're
even-
wearing merch.
Not even
and it was
just that.
ridiculous.
It was also the fact that the drivers didn't want to be there. Like no one wanted to be there. Everyone's
It
exhausted.
needs to be a week off.
Everyone's exhausted. You need a reset. It needs to be the time off. So yeah, I would say yes. The Thorn would be that. Would be the best one for me. And then Bud, like I look at a race like Texas, the rumblings of the Mexico City, like that to me, and seeing this series go to other interesting cities that people want to travel to beyond just the racing.
Yeah.
I think it's a big draw. For Formula One, that's the draw for me. Like you can be in Singapore, you can be in Japan, like you're in all these cool places. Now granted, this is a US based series. However, there are places in the US that you can go to that are really exciting and fun. Let's do more of that. All right, well with that, anything else you want to cover?
I think that's everything.
Oh, so we don't know the answer to the poll we did. We just did a poll.
Okay.
Will Kimi Antonelli basically burn out this season? Like, is he done or is he still good? So we want your guys' vote now, and then we want you to give us the poll to put on this next one.
Okay. I think Kimmy will be all right.
Okay.
I think you got to ride it out. He's a rookie. You ride it out.
Okay.
You've invested in him. I think you need to stick with him. And if you can't get a Max Verstappen or somebody in that seat, stick with him for a year or two.
Things take time. I mean, it just takes time, you know. Going back to a track a second time has been so huge to so many different drivers' careers. Going back somewhere for that second time and kind of knowing you're not feeling lost as soon as you roll off the truck. So, I mean, yeah, you have to give him that second chance, that second opportunity to come back to some of these tracks that he's on the first time this year.
All right, I've got a poll question. Let me see if you like this, Tony. Will Alex Palou win more races next year than he did this year?
It's a great question.
That would be 8 or 9 wins, depending on how this weekend goes. So that would be my poll question. I don't know if that's...
Top of my head, I would say no. I just think Penske does bounce back next year. Even if Malukas is in a 12 car, if Malukas is in a 12 car, that dude's going to win at Gateway or Phoenix. I guess kind of races a little bit like Gateway.
All right, so we got a no and a no. What's your take?
I didn't say no.
You going yes?
I think he
You
might.
will.
I think he might. So he has 8 wins right now, right?
Well, Mike, is it a yes or a no?
Like I said, yes. I think he wins 9 or 10 races next year.
Wow,
Well, we'll know sitting right here this time next year only.
that's true.
Yeah, we will.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna let. You guys are gonna look at me. You fucking idiot.
What's your take?
I say no, he's not going to.
I can't wait to see what your poll says about this.
I know.
Find out.
Greg?
I'm gonna go with no because if the teams can't figure it out in the entire offseason and then come back around to chase him, then there's a problem that's bigger than him winning 9 or 10.
I could still see him winning the championship, but maybe I don't know if he'll get the 9 or 10 win.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us.
This is incredible.
Great to meet
If
you
your
guys
lights
in
are
Detroit.
short
Glad we're
tomorrow,
here.
it's not our fault, but yeah.
Thank you to Sprocket Rocket
Yes.
and the Sprocket Rocket Party Bike crew. Gordo, our awesome captain, our driver. Gordo. And a big thank you to Joe for helping the filming and Claudia.